What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where I, Graham, G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content they watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the January 15, 2022 edition of Talking Smack. As always, being hosted in the studio by Jackie Wren and Matt Camp. The special guest host this week was JBL. So they're just kind of going through the recurring pattern, the recurring cycle of JBL, Jackie Wren, not Jackie Redmond, she's always there. JBL, Booker T, Peter Rosenberg, Jerry Lawler as well was the other one. JBL is probably one of the more bearable ones. Jerry Lawler, just doesn't watch the product. I could believe that JBL probably watches some of the shows, and he can be entertaining, although their analysis from all of these special analysts is always super generic, but it is what it is. So to start the show, they run down the biggest headlines, including Lita's return, the Roman and Rollins exchange, and the Viking Raiders becoming the number one contenders to the Smackdown tag team titles. They recap their win in the opening match of the show to earn that title shot. Matt Camp says they do pose some sort of a threat to the Usos, as they are former Raw tag team champions, former NXT tag team champions, but it's going to be hard to knock down the Usos, who have been champions since the summer. We hear backstage with Megan Morant from Viking Raiders following their victory. Ivar says that they're next in line and questions, if the Usos are protecting Roman Reigns, who's protecting the Usos? Eric says that the Usos were right, that the Vikings have never raided Samoa, but they've officially arrived at their shores and all this dumb lingo, and nothing will stop them from becoming SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I like the Viking Raiders. Unfortunately, they've been so poorly booked over the past year or two that it's just hard to care about them. And not only that, they showed more personality in that Street Profits storyline about a year or two ago, but it's just the goofy fucking promo, like, oh, we're the Raiders. Like, I feel like they didn't talk like that all the time in other promotions. I might be wrong for their promos. I feel like they lean so heavily into the Viking stuff. It's just fucking stupid. But the fact they're still doing it 2-3 years later is just super bad. It's just not good. They then recap the Kofi Kingston Madcap Moss match. Matt Camp says that Corbin and Moss are rolling right now with wins, and they could do some damage in the Royal Rumble. Got a good chuckle out of that one. And he also calls Kofi Kingston the best Royal Rumble performer to have never won the match, which a debate can definitely be made for that. There's a lot of people, some of the greatest of all time, who have never won a Royal Rumble match, like Jericho being one of them, CM Punk, Kurt Angle, but excuse me, how many Rumbles were they in? Kofi's had a lot of great performances, never wins the fucking thing, so I can get that. That's not an egregious statement to be made. They then replay the Lita Charlotte Flair segment, the face-off during the show. We hear from Lita backstage at SmackDown. Lita says that Charlotte Flair deserved what she had coming to her on the show when she laid her out with a twist of fate, and it felt like she was home on SmackDown, although it's been a while since she appeared on the show. It was nice to be back in front of fans again, and called that whole segment a precursor to what she's going to do in the Rumble match. As far as why she's back, one of her goals for 2022 was to become a champion at WrestleMania, and sure enough, the Royal Rumble is the easiest and kind of the hardest way to be able to do that and earn that title shot for WrestleMania. JBL says that anyone would have done what Charlotte did by interrupting Lita's promo, and she's very thrilled to see her in the Rumble, or see her appear rather pre-Rumble. Calls Lita transformative for the women's division and all that she's done for that division as a WWE Hall of Famer. Excited to see her in the Rumble, and her winning is possible, and he calls it a miracle, a lot like Michael Cole had said on SmackDown. But it was weird. He said that it would be a miracle, but she has a legitimate shot of winning. So I don't think it would be a miracle if she's like a front runner to win. You know what I mean? But either way, he calls it, I don't know if he's talking about the men or the women or just the women's match, the most star-studded Rumble of all time. I think he was just talking about the most star-studded women's Rumble of all time. Even that's probably not true. There's a lot of no-namers in that Rumble. Don't get me wrong, I'm here for Lita and Ripley being in it and people like that, but when you have Aaliyah in there and people along those lines, you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. It's not exactly the most star-studded of all time, but that's just my opinion. He also says that Naomi has a legitimate shot, talking about legitimate shots, has a legitimate shot against Charlotte Flair next week when they go one-on-one. They then recap Sheamus versus Ricochet. We hear from Sheamus real quick. Megan doesn't even get to ask him a question. All Sheamus says is that he avenged Ridge Holland by beating Ricochet, who attacked or rather injured Ridge inadvertently at day one a few weeks ago. And the Intercontinental Championship is the last piece of the puzzle for him. that he hasn't won yet, completely ignoring the Universal Championship because fuck the Blueberry Belt, apparently. And then before Megan can even ask a question, Sheamus gets a phone call from Ridge, picks it up, walks off, and that was it. So to close out the show, Jackie Redmond and Matt Camp replay the Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns exchange from the end of the show. JBL says that Rollins won that war of words, and he thinks that he successfully got into Roman's head on SmackDown on Friday. Says that Roman has had a phenomenal title reign, but Rollins knows him better than anyone else, better than his own family, the Usos, or any other opponent. And that gives him an edge over everybody else. Doesn't matter how Roman wins, though. A win is a win regardless of how he wins, and he better utilize the Usos. And then the show ended on a very cringy note because Matt Camp kind of played into the whole, oh, he should probably cheat to win if he wants to win, whatever, and JBL agreed with them. And Jackie, trying to fit into what they're saying, says, oh, we got a heel turn on talking. Oh, my. Just the cringiest shit I've ever fucking heard. And she said it twice, too. She goes, oh, we got a heel turn. First of all, both of these guys are heels. If she's talking about Matt Camp, I mean, it sounds even dumber when she's talking about that. That's what she's referring to. And she said it twice, and the second time, Matt Camp, he has that look on his face. It's like, did she really just fucking say that? Like, they don't really normally say that stuff. If you're going to say it, then say it with the right context. It was just stupid. Either way, this was a fine edition of Talking Smack. Really nothing to write home about here. The Sheamus promo was really short-lived. Great to hear from Lita, though. She made this thing, not must-see, but her segment was cool. And then the Viking Raiders promo, it's just, they got to ditch the dumb Raiders accent. It's just stupid. The dumb Viking accent. It's dumb. It's never not been dumb. And the fact they're still doing it all these years later is awful. But that was Talking Smack for January 15, 2022. Thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Plenty more content to come this coming week, so if you haven't already, please hit that bell button to be notified every time a new video goes up. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.